Hello everybody, Water here. Welcome to episode 8 of my second Let's Play series for Oxygen Not Included. Now in the last episode we solved our issues with power and oxygen production by, well, upscaling our mini Hydra to a build with 9 electrolyzers in total, which should be plenty for what I have planned for this colony here. Nevertheless, we are not entirely done with integrating this into our colony, so with that said, it's time to get back into the game and have a look. And here we are, right back at our 9-headed Hydra. Now, at the moment, we are already distributing our oxygen properly via these pipes, but the power distribution down here definitely needs a bit of a rework. So first things first, we need to get the power all the way to the bottom, and then directly into our F node production, and then a bit further to the left as well. That also means we don't need any of that anymore. We also don't need that anymore. We will also have to get rid of all of that, and this one over there. Up here, we will have to cut off the wire and put in a bridge with a higher priority, so it's built first. So our normal base is not without power too long. So, then, over here, we are also going to get rid of our liquid lock. That is no longer going to be needed, because now I'm going to turn on the thermal aqua tuner to minus 25 degrees. And then close off this part here, which was used for the cooling up to this point. Also don't have the temp shift plate anymore. And yeah, once this here is all out of the way, we can grab some power transformers and place them this way around. So for here, then there should be enough space for another 6 in total on this side here. Okay, looks good. Then, some conductive wire going straight down here and powering all of that, which means we don't need this here anymore. And we also won't need this here much longer, because this one here will replace that. And then over here we will have basically the same, but for all of my ranches. Okay. Then over here, we have these for the left later on. That also means we don't need that anymore. We don't need those anymore. And if I'm looking at my plans, I will also have to replace this one here actually with some normal wire, since there will be a gap in the floor there. And with that, it's time for some digging again. So over here, we will have to go 10 tiles in like that, dig it down at least to this layer here, and I might as well go all the way to the bottom, but also all the way to the top here, because we are going to add quite a bit in this area as well. Now to reach all of that, we are going to need, come on, another ladder fire pole combination. Let's just go all the way to the bottom there, and for now let's just go up to there, and then a fire pole next to that. And obviously I'm going to add the obligatory deodorizers while I'm on it. And here we go. Now that we have some space, let's start on the decon chamber for our polluted water. For that I will need actually a liquid lock right in this spot, so I can get my chlorine atmosphere going. Should also add a tile here to protect my liquid lock in case anything drops from the top. Then 5 here, 1 down, and then 4. Means I will have to get rid of this corner there. In there, I'm going to put in 4 liquid reservoirs and connect them in a big loop like that, and the loop is closed with a bridge here, and then I have my overflow going straight up there. Then from the top I have incoming my inflow, and that is looking pretty good. Now I will need to get a vacuum going at some point, so I'm going to, for the moment at least, put in a gas pump here. And then I push a gas vent, and the power will come from there, but until I have all of this here built, I'm not going to connect it yet. And now I just need to wait until I have a proper vacuum in there, and then I'm just going to throw in some bleach stone for the chlorine atmosphere. Okay. next up. I noticed that in my plans, I thought the sublimation station was 2 blocks high, but it's just 1, so I can fill in the corner again. Now, this is going to take the polluted dirt from over here, turn it into polluted oxygen, which then later on will get deodorized, but at a different location. So, first things first, we're going to need from shipping a conveyor rail, and then a chute, an auto sweeper, and then the gas is a pump controlled by an atmo sensor. And obviously we'll need a couple pipes all the way to the top there. Now with that in place, we can put in a ceiling and a bit of the wall here. Now here we will have storage for polluted water and then water. So we will need a couple of those, then the floor and then the top part. Now the liquid vents. And then our liquid pumps. And the water coming in might be a bit hot, so I'm going with gold amalgam just to be on the safe side here. Then a couple of bottle drainers here and there. Then the bottle fillers next to that. Above them we will need valves and another valve to the side there. Okay, that should be all of those parts. Now for the power before we forget about it. This goes up to those here via a bridge in this spot. Now for the pipes, we are going to start with a couple bridges down here. Oh, this is our primary input. Then secondary, this is the primary output. That will then distribute here and go further up. Over here we have our primary input, secondary, and then the output, which will go through here and then also further up. Now for the inputs, this is where our water comes from. Our water flows through here, then goes down. Then we will need another of these here. This is for the polluted water. That will come through here and then go down. Over here we have more or less the same. The water itself will get filtered at the top here. So that is where this pipe here, and that means we need another couple bridges. So this pipe goes all the way over here, connects through here and then goes over there. Then our first filter goes up to this spot and the second one there as well. Then enforcing the direction of the liquid flow, and that closes the missing parts of our loop. Okay, let's get this built, and then those two here properly primed with polluted water and normal water. And it looks like I currently don't even have any polluted water just lying around, so I couldn't prime that one. There was also a little bit of an issue down here. I tried to put in the chlorine, but with the temperatures here, that immediately turned into liquid chlorine, and since the amount was so small, it also automatically got deleted by the game. So for now, I'm just going to keep this here as is and heat it up, which is not too much of an issue because there is another problem that occurred, or that I noticed in the meantime, and that is, yeah, my base is starting to fill up with carbon dioxide, at least on this side here. Over here we are still somewhat safe, since the carbon dioxide is still freezing. But that means we should really get started on our gas storage, which will happen in this area here. So for that, I am going to start with putting in this part of the floor and wall. And then we have 3 chambers, each is 4 wide, and those will contain our gases. So for that we're going to need enough furnitures, pedestals in those spots, so we can get in 2 kilograms of nectar each, which also means I should turn off This one here. So let's see. Turn this off. So we have some handy when we need it. Then we are going to need gas pumps. And those might come in hot, so I'm going with steel even. And of course I can't place them since we have those pedestals. So yeah, let's first get the walls and liquids in place. Now at this point I should probably move this liquid pipe at least one tile down, or I might run into some issues and I want to get rid of it later on. So with that out of the way, it's time for the pumps. So 2 per chamber. And below them I will have, also out of steel, a valve in the middle there. Except we have one more of normal materials there. Then this will be our later filters. Same there. Put there. Then we can put in the X vents here and the 7th up there. Then we have our bridges connecting the 2 pumps. Then going down. So then we will have our miscellaneous gas pipe going along here and then coming from below. This obviously connects there. Then in those spots we are bridging down, and here we are bridging up. So over there and over there. Then I can connect here. Looking good. Okay, then next up we will need a proper floor here. Let's actually move this all the way to the side there for now. Then I also forgot it over here. And then the doors. That. So, now, over here, we will have a couple canister fillers in those spots. Then the corresponding canister drainers. In those spots here. Although that here I'm going to also put there. Okay, then. This one connects here. This one connects straight up, as do these here. This one here will connect over. Like that. Looking good. Okay. So, now for the outputs. This here is for... Let's actually start with this one here. This goes up and then over here. This will be the carbon dioxide. For the moment though, I'm not going to connect it completely yet. And I apparently used a different material here for some reason. Okay. I like the granite. Okay. Then I will have from the left coming in like that the natural gas. That natural gas will also then later on be moved into the kitchen. So here. Let's prepare that as well. We have also the carbon dioxide. Oh wait, not the carbon dioxide, the polluted oxygen. That will move to this floor here. And then straight up here. That's what I want. Not really. Yeah, that looks better. That looks better. Okay. And for now, I'm also disconnecting that. Just to be on the safe side. Now, finally, let's worry about the power wire. So this goes just straight to the side, and we worry about where it continues from there in a bit. And here we go. So, next up, I am going to add a couple high pressure gas vents just temporarily in those spots so we can evacuate all of that, which also means we need to get some power in there. So first I'm going to add a normal floor here. Then an insulated floor there. And then up here we have another insulated floor. And if I'm not entirely wrong, we should be able to get the power up in this line here. That will go get on all the way to, I think, this spot there. Then over here to this line there. And yeah, once this is all built, we should see a proper vacuum in those chambers here. At which point I can get rid of those vents again. Then I need a couple bridges for this one here. And just to be safe, I'm going to disconnect this one here for a moment. I can connect this one here. And we'll get some carbon dioxide. And yeah, now I can finally get down here and add a pump, let's say in this spot. Like that there. Give it some power. And also a little bit of automation, so I'm going to detect oxygen. Then not oxygen. And then the entire thing for 30 seconds, and only then the pump will turn on. So this is pretty much the standard setting I use for setups like this here, so even if there is a little bit of oxygen just floating around, it will stop the pump immediately, and only if the pump is inside of not oxygen for a long time, it will actually turn on. And here we go. The carbon dioxide pressure is already decreasing quite a bit. So here we are at about 1 kilogram. And if we go a bit higher, you can see we are close to 1.5. So this is already starting to show some effect. And if we go in there, you can see this is now properly primed. And yeah, we get both inputs at the same time flowing in. So yeah, just as intended. Now, next up, before I worry about that stuff over there, I should finalize the power grid here. So, let me just quickly stop for a second. Then I'm going to snip off the connections here. And then I'm going to quickly upgrade this here to 2 kilowatts. And the same over here. This I don't think we need anymore. Then lastly a bridge in this spot. There. Okay. Let's just make sure this is prioritized accordingly. And build first. And once all of this here is done, it's time to worry about this setup here, and that is going to be a bit tricky. One, I'm going to need a normal floor there. But more importantly, I will have 2 airflow tiles here, and on top of those, I need a little bit of liquid, similar to what I have over there. But obviously, I can't dig in there, since, well, I would lose my vacuum, or I would release the hydrogen, and that is a bit of an issue. So, first, let's get rid of that one. Then I'm going to put in a couple tiles like that, and this one here is in the way. So what I'm going to do is basically go around like that. Once that is in place, close this off, then I can replace this here with a normal tile and then drop in the liquid until I have enough over there, then close this off. And all of that might take a little bit of time, but it shouldn't be overly complicated. Unless, of course, you reconsider halfway through. So I've moved the gas vent one step to the right, and getting a vacuum in there so the liquid could actually flow all the way was a little bit tricky. But I've got it in the end. And now it's time for the deodorizers, which can all access this airflow tile. They will obviously also need power. Then I will need some automation, so an auto sweeper here, followed by a conveyor loader there, and for the moment a temporary one over there. Then a receptacle in this spot. This gets connected to this loader here. Then I will need to get down from the second loader there. All the way to there. I should prioritize building the wire here. Now, while my tubes are working on that, I can add those bridges here. Disconnect there. Disconnect there. So those are now in place. Then I can disconnect here and for the moment also disconnect here. Then reconnect there and give a temporary connection here. So I should redirect the polluted oxygen into the filter and prime it with that. We are now also done here. So let's put in this tile. And the other tiles up there. So this is now primed. I can disconnect here. Reconnect here. And we were just there. Why didn't you build this? Sometimes it's really stupid what my dupes do. And there we go. Okay, now I can finally reconnect here. And we should see the polluted oxygen making its way in there. And you can see it's overpressuring quite a bit. And as long as I only have oxygen down there, that should not change. Of course, if the carbon dioxide here decides to get in there, I will get a couple problems. Of course, oh, okay, we might be lucky. Yeah, okay, we got lucky there. So let's increase the priority for this one here. And then these need to be built. So this cannot happen anymore. Yeah, let's grab some ethanol. At some point I will need to start to get some more tubes though. So, anyway, we still need to get all of this here built. But that is all looking good. So now I can reconnect this pipe. And I can also reconnect here. Kind of forgot about that part earlier, I guess. So. Anyone coming by? Looks like we don't have any iron currently. Seems like the iron we are seeing in the statistics is lying inside of our Tamers. That is a bit annoying. Yeah, and that's where the iron came from. Okay, now we can build this. Then close this here off. And then we shouldn't get any potential issues anymore with the carbon dioxide. Of course, if we get hydrogen in there, we could have a similar situation, but that shouldn't happen under normal circumstances. And with that, we are almost done over here, although I had to flip around the conveyor receptacle or the Roadstreamer wouldn't be able to reach it. Now, this one here will collect the clay and move it down into storage. And this one here is going to collect the sand via tubes and provide it to our deodorizers. Okay, now let's have a look. So down here, this is heated up enough. So I can get rid of this stuff in here. And replace them with the proper liquid reservoirs again. Just like in this here. Now it took a little bit longer than expected since there was a spot of carbon dioxide going back and forth and I first had to get rid of that. But now I'm just going to wait until I have enough pressure in there and then I can get rid of the bleach zone and close this off. So with that said, it's time to get up here and work on the next storage. And that means first we need the wall. And 1, 3, 1. 1 here, 2 there, and those two actually need to be insulated tiles. And for some reason I keep hitting that wrong button there. So then the manual airlocks. Then the vents. And this here will be for brine, and this here for salt water, and this comes in at 95 degrees, so I need the gold amalgam definitely there. So power is already in position. That worked out perfectly. Then below, I'm going to need a bottle filler here. And there, this time I don't really have the space for the bottle drainers, unfortunately, since I need my liquid valves in those spots here. Those will go down, like that. Then I have my pipe going up here. And then that will go over here. Then all the way to the top there. So I need 2 bridges there then, subsequently. 2 bridges here, 2 bridges there. Then primary input, which will come from below. And from this side, this is my secondary input. Then I will have another secondary input above that. That is salt water. That goes... I can use the pipes here. In here. Then secondary and then the primary or output. This goes down here. This goes down here. Oh, wait. I've put those here in the wrong direction, apparently. Not too much of an issue. The pumps are just running unnecessarily a bit, but yeah, whatever. It's not broken, at least. So, anyway, let's see. So those are our outputs. And I have an input here that is connected. This will come in a second, but we'll have to go up. Wait, go here. In there, this goes to this spot and is not directly connected here because that actually needs a liquid bridge here. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, then we have another one going up here, connecting to this one there. Now it's time for our filters, which are here. And there. Then our output goes over and down, and here over and down. That should be pretty much all. Not going to put in those missing bridges here, since I'm not priming those yet. But that is looking pretty good already. And here we go. In the meantime, I've also added the missing walls and started a little bit of a cleanup down here because I wanted to get rid of the ultra cold material right next to this chamber, since currently there is no heat source in there, no real heat source at least, and I don't want the chlorine gas here to liquefy. Okay, now. It looks like one of our lamps actually died. I suspect one in the kitchen. Yeah. Oh, over there. You have some tough meat. Nice. Now that should be able to be turned into tender brisket. And for that, let's use the wood. And this needs gas output, it appears. So let's put that also in place. Okay. Then, now my tubes are busy down there. We can plan out our next liquid storages, and the next 5 are all identical. So for now, let's just make one down here. And that will require one insulated floor here, normal floor there. Then we have part of the wall, then our 3 corners. And that is, as you can already imagine, where the storage will go. Then we will need bridges. Then the input comes in here. Second input, then the output goes over there. Then we have a bottle filler, and this time we should have enough space for a bottle drainer, since none of these materials here are really needed for anything else. Then we should be able to, let me think, yeah, let's put that in there, the liquid valve. Input, second input, and then this goes over there. Okay, and then this one here goes to over there. Now, in case I need this for something else, I'm going to just go straight up here. Then I will have a second valve. Yeah, let's go with a valve. And then this goes over there. And for the moment, I'm just going to stop there. And once I need it, I'm just going to add a bridge. But as I said, this is not required at the moment, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Okay, so that is one of these. Power is also already in place. And as I said, I just need 5 of those layers here as a whole. And I almost forgot about it again. We are obviously going to have a bit of a wall right there. And done. All 5 storages are now in place. I did make one little modification though. The liquid pumps are now all out of steel because some of the materials that will flow in there might be a bit warm and I'm not entirely sure yet where they would end up. And I had the steel for that. So, now, next up is fixing the situation down here. I thought of a rather simple way to do this. The first thing we need to do is actually get in here and then remove the bridge up here, replace it facing down, and then we can simply add this little bit of pipe, and that should fix this little issue right there. And that's a wrap. So that is now all done. There is one last thing I would like to do over here. I keep forgetting to reconnect this pipe here, so the ethanol can also be used for the bottle pillar here. Just need to make sure that this here is not set to hot water. Okay, then let's have a last look at the bottom there. Yeah, that is exactly what I was talking about. We now have, again, breathable atmosphere all over the place. Okay, that is very good to see. Good. Over here. Okay, there is not much carbon dioxide that will collect over there, so that's not an issue. Yeah, the next big step would be connecting all of our geysers to the storage and then also purifying the saltwater and polluted water for our electrolyzers. But it's getting a bit late, so I'm going to worry about this in the next episode. And with that, all that's left for me to say is that I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, share, and comment if you did so. It really helps. Independent of that, I wish you a nice day, and well, see you